I'm Jennifer Spivey, and I want to welcome you to the Connect podcast. I'm so excited that you're here with me as we begin a brand new series on how to set boundaries. This is going to be a two-part series. This is such an important topic for Christian women, men, anybody really. And today we're laying the foundation, the what, the why, and the where of healthy, godly boundaries. So let's get to it. First, let's talk about what boundaries actually are. It's simple, but let's go ahead and make that definition. A lot of people hear the word boundaries and they immediately think of walls, barriers, or pushing people away. But that's not what healthy boundaries are. Healthy boundaries are simply the limits we set to protect the life God entrusted to us, our time, our emotional well-being, our energy, our relationships, even our spiritual health. Boundaries help us identify what's okay for us and what isn't, what lines up with the call of God on our lives and what doesn't. Boundaries help us communicate clearly, honor our responsibilities, and show up with real love, not exhaustion. In Scripture, we see examples of boundaries everywhere. Jesus himself stepped away into quiet places, rested, prayed, and said no to constant demands. Not because he didn't care, but because he was committed to his Father's will. So if Jesus modeled boundaries, friend, you and I should have boundaries as well. So let's move into the why. So many Christian women struggle with guilt when it comes to setting limits. We want to be helpful. We want to be supportive. We want to be giving. We want to be available. We want to say yes. And those are beautiful qualities. But here's the truth. When God calls us to love others, he never meant for us to lose ourselves in the process. Healthy boundaries protect your emotional well-being. They protect your physical energy, your spiritual growth, your time with your family, your ability to hear God clearly, your peace, your stability, and your personal call of God. Without boundaries, even good things can start draining us. We become stretched too thin, overwhelmed, resentful, and honestly, sometimes even bitter. But boundaries help us stay aligned with what God actually has asked us to do, not what others necessarily expect from us. That's an important distinction to make. Boundaries are not selfish, they're stewardship. Where do you need boundaries? Now, this is where some of us are going to have that aha moment, because once you start looking closely, you realize that boundaries touch nearly every part of your life. So let's walk through a few of those key areas. How about personal and emotional boundaries? So this would include your mental health, your inner peace, your alone time, and your emotional energy or your emotional well-being. Sometimes it's just as simple as saying, I can't be the emotional dumping ground for everyone around me. That's okay to have a boundary and communicate it. Sometimes it's stepping back from toxic or even unhealthy relationships. As women, we can feel pressure to juggle everything, but we also need boundaries in family, in marriage, or roommate rhythms. Boundaries help us protect our marriages, protect our parenting time, and protect the rhythm of our home. It might look like delegating responsibilities or saying, I'm not available right now. This is our family time. When my kids were small, we had a night a week that everything was turned off and we said no to everything but the kiddos. How about work and ministry boundaries? We love serving, but to be honest, burnout does not glorify God. So it's okay to limit commitments, protect your rest, and say no when something doesn't fit the season that you're in or the call of God that's on your life. How about boundaries with regards to social media and community? This one is kind of huge. Sometimes we need to limit our scrolling, our posting, our availability, or the demands that people make on us, even online. It may also mean stepping back from social obligations that drain us instead of filling us. I love anchoring this thought with Mark 6:31. That's where Jesus told his disciples, come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest. Rest is not optional, it's biblical. Before we move on, I just want to pause for a moment and ask a small favor. If this podcast is encouraging to you, would you please take a second to subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with a friend? Those simple actions help us reach more women who need encouragement, support, and biblical guidance in their everyday lives. I want to thank you so much for being a part of this community. It just means the world to me. So let's jump back into it. We're getting ready to close out this part 1 of this series. These are the things that I want you to remember. Boundaries are not barriers. Boundaries are not selfish. Boundaries are not unloving. Boundaries are wise, biblical, and essential to living a life of peace, purpose, and obedience. They help you love God, love people, and boundaries protect what God has entrusted to you. So next week, we're going to go deeper. We're going to get into the nuts and bolts of how to set boundaries and maintain them. We're going to talk about how to communicate your boundaries, how to overcome guilt that may be associated with that, and how to stick to your boundaries consistently. It's going to be good. So I can't wait to dig into that with you next Thursday on the podcast. Before we go, I just want to invite you to check out the Connect Mentoring Network, a community designed to support, equip, and encourage Christian women just like you. So you can visit www.connectmentoringnetwork.org to find resources, mentoring opportunities, and more at that website. And if you're watching on YouTube, take a second to subscribe to this channel, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with a friend if you feel led to do that. I appreciate it. Thanks again for joining me today on the Connect podcast, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon.